Guys, today we got a video that's been in the makes, and the only reason why this video is gonna do really well is because he's a really big UW fan, and I'm a decent Boise State fan. We'll just put it at that. But yeah, today we're gonna talk about Chris Peterson's legacy and what is it known for? What is the national perspective of his legacy? Was it made in Boise or was it made in UW in Seattle? Jeff, what's your thoughts on this topic?
I mean, listen, he took UW to the college football playoff. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear. Gave them an opportunity to win a national championship, and don't really know if we can say he did the same at Boise State. I guess to the national level. I mean, I don't know. What do
Okay,
you?
what I think is he took over in his first year, he went undefeated and won the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, his second year, he did really good. I think he had one loss. Anyways, he did really good, and then Kellen Moore came and those boys lost 3 games in like 4 years. It was incredible to watch. They got up to number 2 in the polls. If they have a kicker that makes a 35-yarder in 2 of their games, they go 52-1 in those 4 years. And that's a national championship, but we could debate that another day. I think his legacy was built at Boise State. 2 Fiesta Bowl champions, a couple undefeated seasons, and the third Fiesta Bowl, he wasn't the head coach, but it was all of his recruits. It was the year after he left, they won. And yes, the coaches Harson and Sanford and Marcel Yates, all of them, they coached that 2014 team pretty well, but it was all his recruits. And so I think you got to give a little credit to, both sides, the coaches that coached that, and then Pete for recruiting. But you could also make the argument, and what is the argument you brought up earlier
college football.
about
Oh yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
year's national
yeah.
championship?
Well, yeah, the recruits that DeBoer had, a lot of the you guys that were, I guess, homegrown UW players that had been there since they were freshmen were Peterson recruits. And yes, Michael Penix Jr. came from the portal. They did have some portal guys, but um, they also had a good amount of recruits like Romo Dunze that played a big role in getting UW to the national championship.
Yeah, I think UW did a really good job under Peterson.
Yeah.
Um, I think their last year, Bush Hamden OC was the OC at Boise State this year, was the OC in 2019 and 18 or something like that for UW. I thought that's when they got Odunze was around that time. So I think they could take credit. But here's the thing. How many New Year's Six Bowls did they win at UW? I think I have the argument here. Because you look at his first year he went 6-6. Okay, that was Sark's recruits, right? His second year, Jake Browning comes in. He gets a little bit better. When Jake Browning came in, that was the start of the UW era. But I don't think you can compare Jake Browning's UW era to Kellen Moore's Boise State era. They're on two different levels. And they don't say the bull crap about they didn't play anyone because they played Georgia. They played Virginia Tech. They were ranked top 10. Oregon State was in the top 25. Yes, they did have a little weaker schedule, but they did play some powerhouse teams.
Yeah, I mean, for definitely, Jake Browning definitely when he stepped in, that's when I first really started to get into UW football, and you know, it just transformed, I guess, the viewership. A lot of people in Seattle really started to tune into the Huskies and, over the Seahawks, even though the Seahawks were dominant then, it kind of
Yeah.
shifted your focus a little more towards the college football game. And yeah, I mean, especially those early years for Jake Browning, he
Yeah,
looked.
I watched his first career start. It was in Boise. Again, it was Chris Peterson coming home in Boise. I was sitting in the end zone, and we didn't know who was going to start for UW. There was 3 guys. I think like Curtis Samuel or something, some other kid, and they brought out the freshman, and he struggled a little bit, but boy, like they had a shot to win that game. And ever since then they got better and better and better. And then the year after that, I think they went like that was the start of the Chris Peterson era in UW. So I got a question. What does Chris Peterson mean like to the Seattle area? Is he beloved or is he like how do they feel about him?
Yeah, I would say he's definitely more beloved than Kalen DeBoer is at the moment. Even though he took UW to the national championship. I think that Chris Peterson kind of he left on, I guess, good terms, and it was just kind of time to move forward, and he was moving forward as well. But I think that it was appropriate when he left, and that's kind of the biggest thing is like, what terms are you leaving on? Are you leaving on your terms? Are you leaving on, both sides? The terms of both sides. I feel like it was a little bit of both. Ways we're looking to move on, and that's kind of just everything when it comes to departure of a coach that had so much success.
I think he peaked at Boise State. That's why he left. I think I am sorry to say this, but that 2014 year, 2013, my bad. They were like 9-4 and 4 losses. That's as many as Kellen Moore had. Like that's less than Kellen Moore had in his 4 years. So I think, well, with the playoffs coming up, I mean, yeah, I think Peterson, if the format was like that the whole time, Boise State would be in the New Year's Six Bowl every single year under Chris Peterson up until that year. And maybe, yeah, because they were ranked 18th the year before they would have got in. Maybe depending on the group of five. But I really believe that Peterson was like he was maxing out his resources, finding the diamonds in the rough, and it was getting a little bit harder to recruit. And he just needed a new change. And I think UW was a perfect fit. I know he interviewed for USC. I didn't think that was a good fit, but yeah. But what is your opinion on like? Do you think both sides have a case, or do you think it's like obvious UW is the reason? Is the
Well, yeah,
thing?
you kind of hinted at it, like just around 30 or 45 seconds ago when you said the recruiting, right? Because when you go to UW and you're able to recruit better, right? You're able
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bring in higher rated players, especially from other states. California, Arizona has been two states that UW has really gotten a lot of players from, and um, with Rome Odunze, Nevada too. Lost,
Nevada. Was
yeah.
he a Bishop Gorman prospect?
I'm not
Or
for sure. I just
my
know
bad.
he's Vegas, but yeah. He you know, really he really kind of transformed UW based on the recruiting. He was a great recruiter. Was able to bring in these great prospects, secure them. Rosengarten, the offensive lineman, he's going to be getting drafted here in the NFL draft. He was another guy that Peterson brought in. Super good. Just overall, super good at building a program.
Can we
And
talk about the coaching tree
yeah,
of Peterson? Yeah. So I think, and this is what I think Seattle. Well, we'll back up from Seattle and then we'll go towards the beginning of it. I think Seattle thought Jimmy Lake was the next Chris Peterson. I really did. And I think Chris Peterson wanted to be done. I believe that, but I think they thought they would not lose one heartbeat if they hired Jimmy Lake as their head coach.
yeah. I mean, it's just unfortunate, um, that whatever happened with Jimmy Lake, during that COVID year, it was honestly probably the lowest point UW had been at in a while. Losing to Wazoo with the flag being planted, the UW logo was an unfortunate moment, but you know,
Hey, they're in the Mountain West now. We don't have to disrespect them.
yeah, UW.
Basically. Um, so yeah, back to Chris Peterson, Boise State's head coach is Harsin took over. He was the OC back when Kellen Moore was all the Fiesta Bowl runs. Harsin left. Avalos was the defensive coordinator for Harsin. He was an assistant coach for Peterson. I think Danielson that just got the job. He was under Harsin, and I think he worked, and I think he knows Peterson really well. There's a lot of what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of people connected to the Peterson coaching industry or the coaching tree that makes it like, oh, you come from Pete's background, you might get a job over someone else, especially in the West Coast.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, just the name, you know, he will transform a program, right? He will, elevate the expectations, and people want to come play for him, and people want to come coach with him. And
Yep.
that's important. You need a leader like that as your head coach.
Okay, I think we're done for this segment.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We will catch you in the next one.
We're talking spring games
Yeah,
right next, but we're gonna
like
make a separate video.
like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below what topic you would like us to cover next.
Yep. All
See
right,
you.
see you guys. Thanks for watching.